AITA for ignoring my brother and not caring he's changed since bullying me when we were young. I'm male, 19. My brother is 21 and is my only sibling. I realized I was gay from a young age and came out at 14. My parents were supportive from the get-go, but my brother was absolutely not. He tried telling me I wasn't, or that I was just trying to get attention, and tried to get me to change my mind. When that failed, he called me a freak, diseased, said I was going to hell, even though we aren't that religious, and made it clear he didn't want a relationship with me. He outed me at school. My friends already knew, and tried to get others to join him, but no one really cared and nothing much changed. Needless to say, I vowed to limit contact with him as much as possible, but the comments continued until he moved out when he turned 18 for school. I've since gotten into a great school and have completed a year and a half. I'm in a relationship. My grades are the best they've ever been, and everything seems to have fallen nicely into place. My brother sent me a Facebook message back in August. He started by apologizing for how he treated me, saying he was depressed before and was stuck inside his own head, fell into the wrong crowd online that reinforced his bitterness towards others. He said he'd gotten treatment for his depression, feels more confident than he has in years, and was on the upswing and wanted to meet up to repair our relationship. He said he was proud of me for being gay and supported me, and apologized for taking so long to make it known. I didn't respond, nor did I respond to his happy birthday message in September. Then he started texting me saying he understands if I'm still hurt, but that he'd love nothing more to make up for the hurt he caused. I haven't responded to these either. Here's where my boyfriend says I'm tough. Over the holidays we were all back at my parents' house. I had a great time seeing my family, except for him. Each time he'd ask about me or try to talk to me, I'd give him one-word answers or clam up. He offered to get a game for me as a gift, but I declined. He pulled me aside to apologize face-to-face, reiterating the stuff he said before, but I also cut that short and walked away. Meanwhile, I talked with my parents like normal and was very open with them about the happenings of my life, typically within earshot of him. The day we left, I said my goodbyes and found him in my car crying. He said he understands why I'm closed off to him and that he regrets how it turned out, wished me well, and went inside. I told my BF about this when I got back, and he's pissed and called me an aw. BF says it's clear my brother feels badly about how he used to be and he's changed, and that to throw that all back in his face is a prick move. My parents agree and say he's a good person, but ultimately feel it's up to us. Personally, I've gotten so used to the idea of not having a brother that I don't know if there's anything left to salvage. He made his choice to sabotage me then. Is it really my problem he regrets his actions now? Am I the idiot? Edit. So my BF just texted and said that how I handled this thing has him questioning things and that he thinks we should take a step back for a while. So that's cool. Update. So it's been a few months since my first post, and since a few people were asking, I thought I owed you an update. I would have provided one sooner, but this is a throwaway and I had logged out earlier. The fact I remember the password is itself a miracle. A little after my last post, I texted him that I appreciated his words, but that his actions had really hurt me and that I needed time. He texted back he understood and to take as much time as I needed. He also thanked me for reaching back out to him. I spent a lot of January and February in self-reflection and trying to figure out what I wanted. Lots of people in the last post said I needed therapy, and I agree I likely did. I never ended up seeing a professional, but I got really into some guided meditation and calming exercises I saw on YouTube. Making a habit of it helped me realize how much weight I was carrying and has helped me start to let that weight down. I still have some ways to go, but I can feel my empathy growing, and I like that. I went home for spring break and saw my bro for the first time since Christmas. Long story short, we spent a lot of time hanging out and our relationship is recovering. We've had some hard conversations, cried, shared a couple joints, etc., and I came away from the break feeling much better about everything. And since each of our schools have closed down due to the pandemic, we're both at home and doing our classes remotely and hanging out on the downtime. I want to thank those of you who said I'd probably regret cutting him out, because I can tell you were right. My brother isn't perfect and did many things to purposely hurt me, but people can change if they want to, and he did. I wouldn't want to be judged by my lowest point, and I'm working on not judging him by his. I finally have my brother back, and forgiving him has helped me feel better in ways I didn't realize I needed. Thank you. To answer some common questions, no, my BF from the Opus and I are no longer together, but for separate reasons unrelated to the original post. We just wanted different things and we're at different stages of our lives, but it was a parting with minimal hard feelings. I don't consider his reaction to be manipulative. It wasn't a hard do this or we're through. Why did my brother do it? There's no one reason. He was in a dark place and dealing with a lot of issues in a bad way. He was ignorant about a lot of LGBT stuff and relied on that ignorance when it came to me. It took a while and going off to college, meeting new people for him to begin questioning a lot he believed. And since getting help for his unresolved issues, it was a step-by-step process until he saw how wrong he was. He said he didn't even realize how what he was doing was hurtful a lot of the time because he was so in his own head and had some really bad influences on the internet reinforcing his mindset. I can understand that, and I love how far he's come. Why didn't our parents intervene even though they always had my back? They did a lot of the time, but most of what he said wasn't in their presence, and I was not one to go running to them each time I was the victim of something. They are good people and I hold no animosity towards what they might have done instead. I'm thinking about showing my brother this in the previous thread so he has a better understanding of how I felt about this and may update later on how that goes. Also, I just want to say to others out there who feel they've been repeatedly wronged by someone to the point they want to cut them off that I know exactly how you feel. But the fact is, people can change if they want to, and even if they do, you're under no obligation to welcome them back in your life. But if you can find it in your heart, I'd strongly encourage you to give them a fair shot at doing so. well. People do fricked up things, sometimes many times or for many years before they realize it and feel remorse. We're all only human lesser than 3, not the idiot. My older sister was flat out abusive to me growing up. Ruined my credit, gave me legit scars, got me in trouble, and locked the fridge so I couldn't eat when my parents were out of town. Finally, I cut her out for good and went silent for 2 years during grad school. Something in her snapped during that time and she became a changed person. It's been years later and she opened up to me about sexual abuse she experienced as a child that caused her to lash out at me. I've never allowed myself to fully tap into my anger with my sister. Instead, I feel sad for the deep pain she still feels to this day. I forgive and love her and value our relationship. But my therapist thinks I've tucked away some of the hurt and anger I feel for my sister and wonders will I ever give myself permission to work through those feelings. I think she's right. I say all that to say I'm glad you're allowing yourself to feel your anger and hurt. I'm glad you're working through them, not the idiot. I'm really glad you managed to find empathy for him. It's beneficial and healthy for you. I can't imagine how hard that would have been to do for you and how strong you must have had to be to do it. Congrats. I'm glad you're happier and freer with your life. Would you forgive the brother? Let me know in the comments. Now, AITA for not wanting to get a job. The title sounds bad, I know, but please wise people have read it. Just hear me out. My boyfriend, male, 29, and I, female, 27. Have been together for 3 years now, and we decided that it was time to live together. Some background information. He is an engineer working for a big company in my country and I'm a writer. I also own 2 apartments in a very popular and nice area in the city that I rent for extra income. They belong to my grandparents, and as the only grandchild I inherited them when they died. Even though the pandemic hit my country hard, I did not experience any difficulties because my tenants have kept paying me rent. Therefore, my income hasn't changed at all. I'm not a millionaire by any means, but I can live comfortably just renting my properties. On to the main issue. We decided that I would move to my boyfriend's flat as it is bigger than the one I currently live in, and we agreed that we would go 50/50 on everything: rent, utilities, groceries, etc. I would do more household chores than him since I WFH, but I had no problem with this, of course. However, my BF is now saying that I should look for a real job because it would be unfair that you stay home all day doing nothing while I work. I'm currently working with my editor to finish the first novel in my series, which will consist of 3 books. So it's not like I do nothing all day. I refuse to do so because 1, I have a real job and an extra source of income, and 2, I can pay my share of the living costs without any problem. He insists that I'm being unreasonable. Am I the idiot? So I posted this some days ago, and a lot of things have happened since then. Of course, I sat down with my BF to talk about his sudden change of attitude towards my job as a writer, and I told him that it was very disrespectful to tell me that I have to get a real job when I already have one. I told him that I was considering ending the relationship too because of that. However, I also asked him if there was something that he wasn't telling me because this behavior was not normal at all. At first he doubled down on saying that there was nothing that he wasn't telling me, but after insisting a bit more he admitted that he was jealous of me. He said that he hates his job. This was quite a surprise, NGL, and he resents seeing me so happy and fulfilled with mine. The fact that I have another source of income only makes his jealousy worse because I'm pretty independent and can stop working whenever I want. His words, not mine. However, he said that he was willing to let me continue writing if I also worked somewhere else to make things fair. I was flabbergasted. I love this word, to say the least. So yeah, I broke up with him. It hurts, but I'll live. Maybe this will give me ideas for another novel. Haha, thank you all for your advice and kind words. They have been really helpful. Not the idiot. How I love reading stories of independent people kicking ass. Congratulations on your success and walking away from someone who was going to bring you down. Good luck with your book. Not the idiot. Girl. As another writer, I'm jealous as hell you have a passive income and get to spend your days writing what you want. But you know what? Good for you. You chase those dreams, and you'll keep yourself fulfilled more than any insecure man ever could. It's so absurd for people like that to spend so much energy trying to tear another person down to make themselves feel better. He should have just found a goddamn hobby. Should she have dumped him? Let me know in the comments. Now, AITA for lying about my wife having fertility issues. My wife is trans and we met for the first time after she fully medically and surgically transitioned. Nobody besides her family, and my sister, who found out on her own, really knows this, and she wants to keep it that way. Anyway, we both wanted to have kids young, so we adopted our little girl before the pandemic started. Because of everything that's been going on, my parents didn't really get to meet her until last week, and my sister and her husband were also there. My parents are very conservative, and they've been a bit disappointed about the fact that we adopted. Nothing really explicit, but just subtle things. After they met our daughter, though, they melted a little, because how could you not? But they still wanted to know why we adopted. I felt a bit clever saying fertility issues, because we do have fertility issues, just not the kind my parents probably thought. My sister didn't say anything at the time, but she let loose on me later. I forgot that she has fertility issues, and she started yelling at me saying that she's been spending tens of thousands of dollars on in vitro, how depressed it's made her, how her marriage is on the rocks, and how she's traumatized from her miscarriages. I didn't know she had any. She told me that she trusted me with that and that I'm immature. I told her that we technically do have fertility issues, and she said it's different because we chose to have ours and we knew what we were getting Washington. She said that it wasn't our issue. All the women I dated before my wife were cis, but I didn't fall in love with any of them. I don't think I chose to fall in love with her, so that made me pretty upset. I wouldn't have felt like I was in the wrong until my sister told me that I could have just said that I felt like it would be better for the world to adopt. I still think it would have been met with a lot of suspicion and criticism from my parents, but that would have been the easiest way to avoid anybody getting hurt. And now I've built this unnecessary rift between my sister and I. My wife says that we do have fertility issues, and she feels bad for my sister because of everything she's going through. But ultimately, we have nothing to apologize for because we told the truth. I don't know what to think about all this. Am I the idiot? Update. So, it's been about 3 months since the incident in the post. Our daughter is still the most precious girl in the world, and my wife was very complimented by a few of the commenters. Even though, at the end of the day, I don't think it was wrong to refer to it as fertility issues. I apologized to my sister once she cooled down anyway. She's been going through a lot. Sometimes things aren't about being right so much as they're about family. Thanks to everyone who told us we had nothing to apologize about, though. My sister forgave us, and we hugged it out. She even apologized about telling her she was appropriating issues, which honestly offended me the most, but that wasn't the end of it. My wife couldn't get rid of this nagging feeling that maybe something could go wrong again and my sister or her husband would tell my parents, so she told me she wanted to come out to them. It was a hard decision for us, because I loved them and I was terrified they would disown me and spread gossip about her, but what can I say? My wife owns me lol. It's her over everyone else for me. She kept getting scared every time we agreed we were going to say something, and it ended up coming out when my mom was telling my wife how much I cried when I broke my arm. She said the most she ever cried was getting a soccer ball launched into her balls. I love my wife. She had to explain it a bit to them, and they're still a little uncomfortable. But nothing has really changed. At first, they were horrified, but they always really liked her, and I guess they couldn't just erase that, especially after she explained her situation to them. If anything, I'd say she's made them a bit more open-minded. And I actually got my sister and her husband looking into adoption. Everybody wants a daughter like ours. Anyway, thanks for the advice, everyone. I hope this update makes everybody's day a little brighter. Not the idiot. I think this is quite an amazing update. Also, the surprise twist of your sister looking into the adoption route. Not being able to carry your own child doesn't make you less of a woman. Nor does popping out a kid a year make you more of one. I hope she adopts as many kids as she wants and they grow up with all the love she has to give. Not the idiot. So happy to see it. Such a good example of you don't apologize for intentions, you apologize for impact. Both of you hurt each other and apologized for the hurt even though neither had bad intentions.